on this morning when I was starting the show. I was telling Mariam, a decade ago, I used to castigate adults who were saying, oh my goodness, what will I do with my children for 2 months? I'm a mom now. I can tell you, 2 months is a lifetime. But more than that, it's not so much about the stress of how to keep them busy, the stress of how to keep them engaged. I think there's also the stress of how to keep them safe. They're having a lot of access to screen time. And there's also some data here. The National Police Service recorded a 22% rise. This was in child neglect and abuse, unfortunately. This was in 2024. Screen time among school-age children also tends to double during the holidays, averaging 6 to 8 hours per day, according to UNICEF, again, 2024. Mental health professionals warn that long, unstructured periods contribute to anxiety, restlessness, and behavioral issues among children. That's according to the Kenya Psychiatric Association 2024. So there is reason to be worried, reason to be concerned, and that's why we wanted to have this conversation to really just speak as a country, as a community, and figure out how do we hold space for our children.
I agree. And we have an amazing panel in studio. We'll have them introduce themselves as we just begin this discussion. They are either parents, who have children who are of age to, be looking at a screen, but of course that they want to keep safe. We also have psychiatrists, psychologists, we have experts in the field, and we'll be discussing that with them. We also have a creator and an influencer, Zia, who was just with us in the last hour, and threading through how incredibly unsafe the world can be online, even as an adult. Sembuse, as a child, right? Someone amesikia Sembuse. It's been a while since you heard that word. I know, it's very Kiswahili mufti, But let's begin with, I think, Dr. Muthoni. Maybe you can pass the mic to Dr. Muthoni. Let us know what you do and basically your thoughts off the bat on the internet as a place where children unfortunately exist right now. I don't know if it's fortunately or there's opportunities as well. It's a mixed bag, but just your thoughts on children online.
So my name is Dr. Muthoni Karanja. I'm a consultant psychiatrist and I work at Tranquil Medical Center. So I'm a mother also of 3 children, and they are curious about the internet. So we can't wish the internet away. It is there. It is not good. It is not bad. It's just a fact. So we need to be more proactive about how we are guiding the children, because when children have a void, that's more likely to be exploited. And I'm sure people will be talking about how the dangers of social media, but we need to be proactive about engaging the children so that we can avoid that void that people can exploit to groom them and to harm them.
I think that's incredibly important. The void that people will exploit. We'll figure out what that void looks like. But I want to go to the gentleman next to you. Please tell us your name and what you do.
Okay, my name is Godfrey Omo. I'm a parent here. But I'm also a human rights activist in Kibra. I'm based in Kibra. I think this is a very serious challenge. But on the online part of it, I want to first of all, we saw there's a bill in Parliament that was recently signed by the President. We still believe that this bill will also help regulate our children, especially those who are exposed to social media. Secondly is about the environment. There are those environments we can control as parents, but there are those that we cannot control, going by the social background and all that. When you look at, for example, where I come from Kibra. It is very difficult to control the environment over there because you see the settlement, how we live. You may control your child from within, then you don't know what they do outside when they step out of the house. We also want to urge the government that the 2 months is a very long time. We need to review it. If there's a way we can do away with the period, because we cannot handle them for 2 months, going by the fact that we do not only take care of them, we also have some responsibilities. We need to go work and provide for them at the same time. Then we don't trust the people we leave them with.
Godfrey, how long would you recommend?
No, even 2 weeks is enough for them to
Are your children watching?
Yes, they're watching.
Okay.
But that's the best. But I also want to thank the churches. I'm a Catholic. But you see, in Catholic, they spend a lot of time over there. They only spend from afternoons, they will go to church, stay there for a while, then back. So it is not only the responsibility of the government, but we also need to take responsibility as a community and parents as well.
I agree. When they say it takes a village, that's what the village looks like, right? The church, family, friends, and so on. Milka?
Thank you. My name is Milka Wahu. I work at Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology School of Law. And I also run an Access to Justice organization that we work on issues of children's rights. And I'm also here as a parent. I have a teen, I have other children. And issues of online safety as really serious. When I saw this invitation, I thought, did they see what I was going through this area this week? Issues of online safety in terms of when a child goes online and they get groomed, scammed, or bullied by this someone behind the screen who is not even a Kenyan. So for me here as a lawyer, it's also this aspect of can the law really be the only thing that deals with this? How do we are able to work with the law and outside the law to ensure the safety of our children?
I like that.
Okay.
Within and outside the law.
I like that she's brought in the law because I think sometimes policymakers have this hands-off approach, but I'm like, if you take it from up there, then it kind of trickles down. So I think that's really important.
It hopefully should. Before you pass on the mic, you said what you were dealing with earlier this week. Do you mind sharing?
Yeah, my teen went online, has been online. Of course, they usually have their screen time. And there's this game they play. Several games which are online. Specific one called Roblox.
Yeah.
Roblox.
With
And
Brookhaven,
somebody there told him you could play better. You could do this. And this is how to do it. And you can use a card, you can use a credit card, or you can use a debit card, and you can enter details. And money was lost in the process. And when I visited the bank to block that card, I had to see the manager at some point because I needed another card immediately, so I couldn't wait for the whole bureaucracy.
Right.
And she told me she was also going through the same. So I realized it's not isolated. This is very, very common, especially with these games. So someone behind the screen is telling the kid, I can help you play better. This is what you can buy characters in this game and all that and all that. Give me your account.
Details.
So that yes.
To buy Robux.
Yes, to buy Roblox.
Robux, yeah.
Yes, and then they actually, because I asked, how do you even know how to insert
The card details.
Yes, they tell them what to do. So we're in a lot of problems.
Yeah.
So, and I think this is a very good conversation. And I have heard that from many other parents.
Yeah.
It's very common, yes.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for sharing what I think a lot of people resonate with. And I know platforms like Roblox are actually, a lot of people are suing them. There's pros and cons, but they've gotten into trouble with a lot of parents. Let's go around and continue. We've had you before, so welcome back. It's good to see you. Just tell us a little bit about your name and what you do and just your thoughts on the conversation we're having today.
All right. Thank you for having me, first of all. My name is Masi Mutemi. I'm an executive director at the Oversight Lab. And what we do is try to understand the structural and foundational designs of these platforms and tech companies, Roblox, AI and chatbot designs, so that we try and diagnose what's really wrong about this that's affecting people, that's putting children at risk, and then use that either from a research perspective or from a litigation perspective to advocate for better. I think this is a very important conversation because very often when we talk about safety online, the children aspect is spoken about as, you know, children are young and they need guidance. We forget we've reached an era where children are online the way we are online, and they're facing a very different world to the one we face. And I'll give the example, for example, with companion bots or, you know, chat GPTs and, you know, this Gen AI bots. So from a work perspective, you're like using it, it's really validating you. You feel, oh my God, it has answers. Like, how do I navigate this thing with like a HR personnel? And you really like it, and you you're encouraged by it, but a young person, for example, an adolescent who's going through struggles, for example, self-esteem struggles, that's the exact same thing the chatbot is doing. It's validating any thoughts of worthlessness, any body consciousness, like, oh my God, I feel ugly. The chatbot is saying, oh yeah, you are ugly, because it's designed to keep you there and to make you feel like someone can hear you, right? And right now, actually, there are a couple of lawsuits against ChatGPT because of this. People who already had suicidal ideations or low self-esteem go on ChatGPT, and it keeps encouraging you. Like, it's like talking to the worst kind of friend you can think about. The one that
the enabler, but like the worst kind of enabler.
But the worst kind, the one, like, you know, the parent is like, oh my God, at least my kid is not outside playing with the bad kids. They're at home using ChatGPT and educating themselves. But like when they let something slip about their, you know, vulnerability, ChatGPT is like really capitalizing on that vulnerability. And then what you have is not just like a bad friend. You have the worst kind of person guiding you through the most sensitive crisis of your life. And now there's AI psychosis that's really coming up, like for conversation, where you're already in a bad state, and that bad state is being like, you feel like, oh my God, AI understands me so well. This is the first time someone sees my ugliness. And we have literally situations where AI is walking people through suicide until they take their life by suicide. Like, this is the situation we're living in. So it's not just an awareness thing, it's also understanding how these platforms work and understanding that they're here to make money, to then advise parents, okay, this is how you make conscious choices as far as technology use is concerned. Don't just be happy that your child is at home, not getting pregnant. It could be something different, way, way worse. So for sure.
Yeah, they're not outside, they're not getting kidnapped, they're not pregnant, they're not, so everything is okay. You're absolutely right. Like AI psychosis is something I just learned about like maybe 2-3 months ago. I'm like, I wasn't ready for a whole new diagnosis that comes with AI, but you're right. And that there's a word for it, the enabling nature of AI, which is, it has that confirmation, it gives you that confirmation bias. It's what you want to hear. And you notice it at first, you're like, am I this clever? Or you know, what's happening?
And then it becomes addictive.
It does.
And I think we'll come back at some point and hear from Zia, just again, because you're so, you know, actively online, the kind of dangers that you're seeing, but we'll come back and hear your thoughts on that. We still have 2 other guests, and then I know Mariam is also online, we'll hear from them. But you can just let us know your name. I know you've heard everybody also share an opinion and a thought. What's yours, your name, and your outlook on this whole issue?
Yeah, my name is Justus Olwach. I am a teacher by profession. And just talk about the learners. Right now we have already released them to the parents. And I'm also a parent at the same time. We only talk about online, but 3/4 of Kenyans, they are not online, especially those from rural areas and even from slums. Most of the time, I can say the parents have neglected their work or their responsibility. They have left the responsibility of their children to the teachers. And it is high time now they should start engaging their children at home. One thing is you cannot just enter into internet. Let internet not be the first teacher. Let the teachers to be also parents, whereby parents should know how to guide their children and to be very open to them. Like when you see a learner doing a search from the internet, meaning that they have been neglected by their parents. Now, the only way to get information, a good way to get information, they have concluded that it is only from the internet. Now, I urge parents to come close to the learners, to come close to their children. That's why one of the parents was saying 2 months is too long. Yes, 2 months is too long because they have refused to be with their children. They have just neglected them.
To be fair, I think he's saying, you know what, we have responsibilities as well. We have
responsibility.
We have work. We have. So then, It's also like even from a cost perspective, when it comes to money and time, how much money it takes to keep your kids engaged in a healthy thing for 2 months, right? It's expensive. How much time also, and time in terms of your time also comes at a cost. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's either you're paying someone to watch them or you're watching them at the cost of doing something else. So I do get where he's coming from, but I also understand what you're saying in that it has to.
You give the children their time also. They should be given, not only, it's not a must to be with them the whole day, but you can guide them. Like most of parents are not open to the children. Like adolescent child need to get teaching from the parents at the same time. Need to get the teaching from the parent, whereby they don't do it. They don't do it. That's why after opening school, you'll find the learners are so indisciplined, and all blames will come to teachers. So teachers are the one who are not doing the right thing. Now, my point is, let's join hands together so that we help these learners when they come to school. Let's handle them with a lot of care as teachers, and when they are at home, let parents also be teachers there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All,
Yeah.
Let's. You're like, what do I say after that?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ivana Waweru. I'm a child psychologist. I do other forms of therapy, but for today, let me call myself a child psychologist. I've worked in school counseling for a few years. So when we talk about online safety, I believe I have a few stories about that and where that comes from. But one thing I'd say, the exposure is not bad. The exposure to the online space is very important. I think the one thing that kids are looking for is connection, and they have curiosity. So these things, they're not met sometimes. So they meet these needs online. And I think, as he was saying, and I mean, this curiosity comes in questions. Kids ask a lot of questions, and sometimes it seems annoying. I'm also a parent, actually. I have an 11-year-old. So I understand when you say, it can be exhausting to do some of these things, but these questions need to be answered. And so young kids will be asking questions about the environment. As they become a preteen, they're asking questions about their body, about, who they're becoming, their identity. It's very important as a parent to answer these questions, or find people who can answer these questions. That's where we come in as child psychologists. Just find help to help you raise your child. Because as he said, as a parent, there are so many responsibilities. We can't overlook that. I think the current space is very busy. The current parent is having so many demands. So I think just finding support as a parent to be able to parent your child and not feeling like you have to do it alone. That's why he's saying that parents are neglecting, but it's not neglect as such as this parent is also
overwhelmed.
Yeah. They are like over their head in this business. So I think just to feel the need for connection and curiosity, but feel it before they need to go online and find this connection and curiosity. So build it at home first. This reduces the effects of what happens when they go online. Yeah.
Zia, let's hear from you. As someone who literally makes money online, but that means you have to spend a lot of time online. But then it's also a dangerous space even for adults. And I think that, and then I thread now, I'm like, okay, I can't imagine some of these dangers now without the clarity of an adult mind. But speak to us to some of the things that you see online that are just like red flag, red flag, red flag. And then, we can thread from there. And even as just, a conscious citizen, what are some of those things that are super dangerous to you online that you think kids should not be allowed around or should be protected from? And also on X, by the way, if you want to shika the mic, please request for the mic. I'm Leota Takpatia mic. The NTV Kenya page is right there. Just request. We also have Frederick, I think, who has already requested for the mic. Frederick Oko, yes, who is a journalist. Akiuliza swali, we'll give him the mic. But let's hear from Zia.
My name is Zia, and I'll publicly go by Zia. I'm an artist. I'm also the founder of Civic Rise Africa. And And let me start by saying parents are going through it. I think I'm the only one here speaking as a child.
I'm also speaking as children. You know?
Oh yeah, you too. Yeah. We are the children here.
We are the children, yeah.
And it's so funny because we just moved from an era where our parents were worried about my child shouldn't access internet because of porn. But now we're in a whole different era where you're worried your child might be engulfed by AI psychosis, ChatGPT, and all these other whatever. You know, I saw, this might be a little unrelated, but I saw the other day a study was done in the US. A few years back, children used to watch Disney. They used to grow up wanting to be
a princess.
Yeah, princess, a doctor. You know how cartoons were and showing, because they were healthy. Let's just say they were healthy. But now children are growing up watching streamers, content creators, and Love Island.
Yeah.
What does that mean for what I want to be a streamer when I grow up?
It gets worse.
Okay.
70 to 80% of kids in the US want to be either content creators or streamers or rappers. It's not bad, but where are we gonna get farmers?
I think we have to. Are we going on a break, Jackso? I think we're going to take a short break, and we're going to come back on that point.
Yeah.
I think the only thing I have is, who was it who said it's not all bad? Somebody said
it was Dr. Muthoni.
Dr. Muthoni. Yeah, because even Azia says they want to be streamers. Okay, I get the concern of we all want to be. There's a very healthy opportunity in that space. I know I'm coming here as devil's advocate. I'm trying to figure out my 7 and 10-year-old who loves streaming.
Right.
But if they want to do game development, streaming, then that's something that can be nurtured. But I think the bad is outweighing the good. So how do we have a healthy balance of streaming? Isn't for everyone. You may not be successful, but if you want to go this route, then you have to do esports, game development.
Something.
I'm now starting jargon.
No.
Let's come back after the
sense.
break, because I really want to pick up on what Zia is saying.
Zia,
I think it's really brilliant to get.
Where will the farmers come from?
Where will the farmers come from?
We need to eat.
So,
Hashtag fixing the nation and TV.
We'll be right back.
It's all here.
Father tried to pay off his gambling debt, but he couldn't. And so, Beto will get Jalen.
Jalen, please wait. I've already found the person I want to marry.
What?
It's time to changamka. A time to celebrate and support products made in Kenya. Brought to you by Kenya Association of Manufacturers. Tupatane KICC from 4th to 8th November 2025 for an opportunity to sample Kenyan products, super sale discounts, factory prices, exciting exhibitions, and fun experiences as you shop your favorite essentials and unique, good quality products. Join us as we celebrate the Kenyan manufacturing sector's productivity and creativity. Entry is free. See you there.
Kote nchini mbele tuendelee, mbele Kenya twende mbele,
Kenya twende mbele. NCBA. Go for it.
there's definitely something about St. Paul's University. Join us this September and start your journey to greatness. Contact us now on 0728 669 000. St. Paul's University, the university of choice.
Hello, Fixing the Nation. My name is Charles Michael. I speak from Dar es Salaam. And you guys, first of all, you are doing the great job to fix the nation. And I see this is good for me to share with you guys because I have been following you, how you're discussing and reporting what is happening in our country, Tanzania, during the election, last week. A lot of things happened last week, and it was so sad, and I never expected in my life, I never anticipated to see what I saw last week. And I saw people were shot, and I saw bodies, I saw, people were injured, I saw blood, just something I never expected, I never anticipated in my life. Okay, the people of Tanzania has been voicing their own dissatisfaction, but they are always, protesting, non-violent. But this time around, they decided to, to protest and to demand their own issues.
All right. Thank you so much to our fixer from Tanzania there for sending us that Was Up Nation video. Incredibly hard. You can tell that he's not okay. And given what has been happening, I, first of all, really appreciate that he still has the time to reach out to Ajirani and say, I appreciate the work you're doing. Asante for seeing us as well. But we do hope that this is resolved in a just way. That means justice for every person who has lost their life in Tanzania, every person who has been assaulted, every person who has been abducted, whether it's from opposition leaders to people who simply were just speaking out and trying to move for change. It's really worrying that that's where we are right now. And the fact that Vocal Africa is saying 3,000 to 5,000 lives is so worrying. We're just about to get onto our X space now. We're talking about online safety. The irony, we're on X, yes. Yeah, but at least you have kuna age limit on X. Online safety for children. And just before we went on to the break, we were talking to Zia, and alikuwa nasema 70 to 80% of kids in the US want to be streamers or content creators. We have someone asking for the mic on X, and we'll get to them. But Zia, why is that a bad thing? Essentially, there's money in streaming, but
yeah, I asked at the end, where are we gonna get the farmers? Who is gonna farm? But anyway, yeah, I don't find any problem with that, but 70 to 80% is crazy though.
It is.
It's crazy. And I don't want to invalidate the dreams of those little kids. But I also think as parents, now that we're having this conversation, let me speak now as an influencer and as someone who's done socials as a career for the amount of time that I've done socials. It's also important for parents to understand how every platform works and the atmosphere of every platform. For example, let's begin with Twitter, X. Twitter is quite emotive. Are there kids on X?
They shouldn't be.
Twitter has an age limit. I'm not sure what it is, but I don't think at least 16 and over, if I'm not wrong. Twitter does have an age limit.
Twitter as a platform, I don't know if I'm speaking, I'm saying this from a Kenyan perspective, but Twitter is quite emotive.
Yes.
Really emotive. Yeah, and for Instagram is it's very visually, there's a lot of pressure visually. It's very easy for you to go on that platform and tell yourself, this person has achieved this much. I also need to achieve this much, and I don't feel comfortable with what I've achieved, so I want to do more because I don't feel secure. I don't feel like, I don't feel enough. That's Instagram for you. For TikTok, and it's so unfortunate what TikTok has become, because TikTok began in Kenya as a really promising platform where people would even build off careers from TikTok. But now I think TikTok is slowly replacing what Twitter is. Because now, especially for the younger ones, TikTok has become such a bullying platform. A really bullying platform. And I hate that I'm saying this on national television. YouTube, there's a lot of learning there. But also TikTok, this is for parents. You know, my name is Zia, a father, future father. Even though I'm still father. This is the last thing I'm going to say. I think you can, I know it's a lot of work, but you can tweak the algorithm of the platforms of your children. For example, TikTok. TikTok has the ability to change your mindset on insane levels, on really, really insane levels. ChatGPT, on the other hand, I feel like ChatGPT has two sides. ChatGPT, people, another study, young people are building brands, businesses, huge companies using ChatGPT. On the other hand, AI psychosis, people falling in love with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
And I don't think kids should be on ChatGPT really.
Yeah, unsupervised especially.
Yeah.
Unless they have like a kid version. I've checked the age restriction for Twitter. It's actually 13, not 16. So yeah,
that's a problem.
That's a little bit lower. And I think of Kenyan Twitter specifically. I don't think a 13-year-old should be on Kenyan Twitter. But you're absolutely right. It's platform by platform. TikTok has an algorithm that is very easily tweakable. You're right. The more you like something, the more of it you get. So that can work to your benefit. It can also work against you. But Jennifer Kabare has requested for the mic on X. Let's listen in to her contribution. Jennifer, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well. We can get you.
Thank you so much for this. You can hear me, right?
Yes, we can.
Thank you for this invite. Thank you, Janet, for the heads up. So my name is Jennifer Kabere. I work with Mtoto News. We're a children's digital company. So we work with children in the digital age. We empower them to be able to navigate the digital space. So I'm following this conversation. There were so many places I say, which was there to intervene. I will start with the content. The last person, Zia, the Gen Z in the room. The reality is, unlike 1980s, 1990s, when we grew up, where we were Cinderella and Sleeping Beauty was our algorithm, because that's what's our algorithms. And anybody who grew in the 1990s, we started with Cinderella, and then we went all the way to Mills and Boons. So that's how we grew up. That's what our algorithm is. And I remember when I was growing up, we used to have like a clique of friends who would change books. These Mills and Boons, there was Hadley Chase, and there was all that. That's how we grew up. That was our feed. That was our For You page. That was, what is the latest book? Can we exchange and go borrow? And then we grew up to VHS videos, and that's what we grew. But the current generation is growing in a similar but a very, very interactive way in terms of their clique now is online. Okay. And someone said, we cannot wish away. There's a person who has said that we cannot wish away the social media. What you can do is be able to empower them and empower children to be able to navigate the digital space. And it's from a very young age. So as soon as your child is able to swipe,
sorry, go again, Jennifer.
I'm saying, can you hear me?
Yeah, now we can.
Yes, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Okay. Where did I stop? I'm saying from the reality is.
Sorry, you were saying as soon as sorry, Jennifer, you're saying as soon as a child is able to swipe.
As soon as the child is able to swipe, and that is 6 months in some homes, we need to be able to start empowering them and showing them what needs to be swiped and what not to be swiped. I recommend don't give your child a screen before their age of 2, and this is because of brain development. So brain development takes place the first 1,000 days before the age of 3, and that's when the children are supposed to be touching and holding stuff. So don't give them. But from the age of when they are able, start showing them what are the boundaries. What are the boundaries? And the boundaries comes. What are the boundaries of your digital boundaries? Don't watch more than 30 minutes. And and because of the evolving capacity, that's as a child grows, you need to be able to increase responsibilities as you increase screen time. Okay, and you show them the way you show your child to wash clothes or to wash their underwear as to wash themselves, it is the same way you're showing them on how to navigate the digital space. Okay, so by the age of 13, when there is the age of digital consent, they already understand what they are getting into. Okay, again, parents, don't give your child a phone before the age of 13, and this is because of research. And all of you are up here saying it's not, that's a problem. Even Twitter, I think it used to be 16. They've reduced the age. It used to be 16. A child being on online, having them their phone, they can be online but not having their own gadget. And the gadget, this is because if you give your child their own gadget before the age of 13, you have very little control. And I know parents are going to, oh, we have parental controls. Those things don't work, by the way. Let me just give you a breaking news. Those things don't work. The only thing that don't work is when you don't have them. So when they're the age of 13, at least they have some form of logic. Their brain has not developed and all that. So I have a training. This is like a crash course. I have a training for parents on all this. So it's important. And also, let me touch on this. I know I don't have a lot of time. There's something called attachment. So right now, a lot of parents are delegating their attachment to gadgets. Okay, and attachment is very, very important to child development and child protection. Attachment is how close am I to a person, okay, or to a thing. Now, in terms of technology, so a child will always go to someone for help, the person who they are attached to. Okay, Alexa, your Google, your ChatGPT is the one that is responding to your child's needs. Okay, like, oh, mommy, I'm having a headache, or Google it. Okay, mommy, I want to talk to Alexa. Ask Alexa. So next time, mommy, I'm being bullied online. What do? Mommy told me to go to Alexa. Mommy told me to go to character.ai. And what does that do? So when your child has problems, they will not come to you. So parents, please do not, the internet and technology has already come for your child's attention. Don't let it come for your child's attachment. Do not delegate your attachment. Have time as a family, especially right now. What I've been telling parents right now, have time at least once a week. Leave the phone, block it somewhere, have a one-on-one time with your child. Okay, put the gadget away. Okay, have a one-on-one on your child. For me, with my children, I have an 11-year-old. We are fighting over the streaming. You know, he wants to be a gamer and stuff. You know, So what we do is every evening, we have a series. We select a series on Netflix. All of us are going to watch it. And we're going to put our phones away. And what that happens, you're sharing a digital space with them. Okay, you're telling them, I'm interested in this digital world. So I'm going to associate and to be able to engage with you in the digital space. And as you are watching this series, you start learning, oh, your child is interested in this, or your child is interested in this. And it's from a series because of the question they're asking on how they're reacting to that series. But at the same time, you're bonding over that. Okay. Yes. You're having a family bonding moment. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a whole thing. Thank you so much, Janet.
Thank you. I really hope, I don't know whether we'll be able to come back to you, but I think you've given some really great nuggets. People in studio are agreeing. You've just kind of gone through, especially the attachment one. Yes. I wanted to, I know at some point, ask the parents realistically what bonding time looks like. And I don't say that loosely because you've heard, I think Godfrey was saying, man, make it 2 weeks. Maybe he's coming from a place of overwhelm. Then we have Justice who is saying, go spend time with your children. So I want to learn, how can we hold space? What's a healthy balance of being genuinely as a parent overwhelmed and what isn't? We'll come to that. We're also asking anybody who wants to get the mic to do so. Right. Before that, though, I really wanted to get quickly from our psychiatrists and psychologists. I want to come to you to start thinking through what are the signs that a child is now becoming sort of like engrossed in this dangerous world. Dangerous.
No, it's so interesting. What are the signs? Yeah, I love my screen. Is it that I spend a lot of time on my screen? But yeah, maybe we can start with Dr. Muthoni and also speak to Ivana. But yeah, those are, what are the signs?
What are the signs that it's getting
out of hand.
Out of hand,
What is
yeah.
out of hand? You know, here's the other thing. As these conversations are ongoing,
Yeah.
I have friends with kids, and like screen time is such a big bone of contention.
Yes.
Jennifer has just said no screens before age 2, and then parents will tell you, realistically, sometimes you just need to put them in front of a screen so that
Yeah.
you can go shower,
I know.
so that you can eat. So
and what I'm learning about that, no, it's a fair question, Mariam, and I feel like what I'm learning is the hard part is having to figure out something else. The easy part is saying, Shikai, nyamaza, achani. That's the easy part because, again, to be fair, overwhelm is real. What I'm learning is the hard part is to say, I need to find something else. Whether it's, I don't know, I try to find things to do. I'm like, if I'm doing an errand, I'm like, you're coming with me. Come with me to the doctor, come and learn about what rheumatologists do.
Right.
Of course, they
Come and
sometimes
see
lose
what
their minds.
a laundry service does.
Yeah,
And
come with me. I don't know. I'm trying to find alternatives because it was always easy to be like, I am burnt out here until somebody comes and you begin to see them change. You begin to see an addiction where if they don't have the screen, they're pouty, they're moody, they're rude. So you're right. What is too much
What
when
is
is the
too
right
much?
time?
Yeah.
But yeah,
if at all.
Don't be stressed, Mariam.
No,
it's not all bad.
On your behalf.
On our behalves, we are.
Dr.
Yeah.
Muthoni.
Okay, so I'll say two things. The first one, you've touched on a very important thing. Statistics actually show that mothers and fathers of children under 5 are more predisposed to depression. And that's because children take. They take. You know, it's not like a very two-way relationship. So you're sleep deprived, maybe you have 2 under 5s, you're working, you have pressure to be the perfect mom, the perfect wife. And I think it's very unfair to parents if we say that parents are now bad, they're neglecting their children. And Africans were on to something with the village. It's just that now you have to pay for the village. But what she said was very important. You need support. You need grandparents, you need aunties, you need friends. We need to normalize play dates. You know, you just go with your mom friends, throw your children in a park and sit and talk. Because mothers also, and even fathers, can become very resentful because you don't have contact with other adults. You're not debriefing. You will be overwhelmed. If children are like, mom, you give them a screen and you're like, just stop. You know. But the other thing that I want to talk about is something you've touched on, addiction. And I'll zoom out a little bit from even just screens to even drugs. You have to look at it from a dopamine perspective. So dopamine is a neurotransmitter, like a chemical in our brains, that is supposed to be pulsed, like small amounts. The world we are living in is very difficult because we now have more dopamine than we need, you know? And when you expose your brain to large spikes of dopamine, it becomes addictive. That's why we get addicted to drugs. That's why we get addicted to alcohol. But now we are seeing behavioral addictions because scrolling and getting that positive feedback spikes your dopamine continuously. And your brain was not designed to tolerate that amount of dopamine. So what happens is that your kid gets addicted. If you are addicted to your phone, the average adult, if they leave their phone at home, they are squeamish.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So you can imagine your brain struggles with dopamine and you're a grown-up. A baby or a teenager, their brain is still in the formative stages. And that's why kids who perhaps take drugs early in life are more predisposed to addiction because their brain just can't handle that amount of dopamine. So we can't run away from the conversation of you cannot give your children screens indiscriminately. The same way you don't give your kid alcohol, don't give them a phone because they'll get addicted. We are addicted ourselves. You can scroll on TikTok for 2 hours and then you're like, hiya, where did the time go? So a kid is even more vulnerable. So I would say if you want to know your kid is becoming addicted, they are losing interest in other things. They don't want to go outside. They want to scroll all the time. They become irritable when you take away the phone. And then another thing I should point out is that if you want to know your child is being groomed or being exposed to sexually explicit content, you can see it through their play. So children, if they start playing an inappropriate game that involves, mummies and daddies and things I won't mention on, national television, children recreate what is going on in their minds through play. So sometimes as a parent, just like you're saying, Janet, just listen, just observe. What they're playing, what they're talking about, what they're recreating is probably what they're watching. So if you see your child has an unusual interest in things of a sexual nature, or they're asking you questions like, yesterday, my daughter, who is 5, asked me, Mom, what is gay? And I was like, oh, okay.
You weren't ready for
like, whoa, and it will come, so you have to be prepared. Because I was like, where did you hear that? And she was like, I was just in the playground, and then another boy told me that if you do this, you're gay. So I was like, okay, that's a conversation we need to have. So, and also, as a parent, don't shy away. Rise above your moral panic.
I like that. Rise above it.
Rise above your moral panic. Yes. Don't think if your child tells you this, you're already seeing a jailbird. But they're just asking you from a point of curiosity. And if you don't tell them, someone else will tell them and they'll exploit them.
Right.
Okay. So don't be shy.
Yeah.
Don't panic. Just answer the question. Because someone will answer it. That's what I'd say. Yeah.
Oh, that's very helpful and insightful.
Right.
Do you want to add anything,
Ivana?
I'd say probably for the parents, I think most parents or people don't have hobbies. So when the easier thing to do is go on your phone. So you would catch yourself when you're bored, you're like, let me go for my phone, let me go for my phone. And so your child also doesn't have a healthy model of what doing other things looks like. So I think we should all have hobbies, whether we are parents or not. And I think just a good example is having creative activities, things you can create from scratch with your own hands, like whatever DIY. And then the other thing would be physical activities. Most people don't have something physical they can do. And it should be interesting to you so that even you can help your child choose something that's interesting for them. And then the other one would be social activities. Most people forget that you need to socialize. The village you are looking for, yes, you have to pay for it now. You have to go for events and all these things. But please, social activities, physical and creative, can help parents or just to be able to figure out, how can I look for other things to do beyond my phone? You had asked a question about signs. I'd say the sign is anxiety. Most people, if you're without your phone, you have a feeling of unease. You're like, I need something, I'm looking for something. So levels of anxiety increase when you're having a phone addiction. And also, I think insomnia, overstimulation. So overstimulation could look different for different people. So some people will not be able to shut down their mind, won't be able to sleep, won't be able to whatever it is. So those are the two signs I'd say. And so that's what I'd say.
Okay.
We are just about to go into a break, but I want to speak to Mercy and Zia and open it up actually to the entire panel on when it comes to an oversight perspective. Again, the algos will do what they need to do to make money, right? They are tailored to do exactly that. So Mercy, I'll start with you. What protections exist for children online in Kenya from that perspective, from the apps themselves and then from our government and our policies? And then Zia, when you work, because we live in this nice global village and everything, what have you seen as like best case practice of governments protecting their people, their children, their everything online, or even apps backtracking and changing things to make it safer for everyone online? But let me start with Mercy very briefly before we go into the break.
Okay, all right. So there's such a disconnect between the child, what the apps are doing to protect children, and what the government is doing to protect children, what the law does to protect children. And I'll give the most insane example. The Constitution says in anything that concerns children, the best interest of the child should be the primary consideration, which would naturally mean, even as you design this platform, it should be designed to be in the best interest of the child. Does that happen? No. Is anyone oversighting that and checking to see, are you holding the Instagrams and the TikToks accountable? Absolutely not. And then is the platform itself doing enough?
Right.
So a big thing that we're really working on is discrimination. And this is an example Zia would be very familiar with, the eyeball discrimination thing, that an African eyeball is not worth the same as an American eyeball, even for content creators. Like, you could be streaming, have 1 million viewers like at the same time, and 10,000 Kenya shillings. Yes, and
$20 clean.
Same person moves to the US, streams to maybe like the exact same content is earning like 100 times more. So it's the same thing when it comes to algorithms. So two things about algorithms, and I think it's really important to understand that technical aspect so that you make decisions from a point of understanding.
Right.
Algorithms, among the many things they're designed to do, they're also designed to isolate and amplify, which means that it wants you, Janet, to feel like you're very special. Like, this is content tailored for you. How many times have you had that? Like personalized, algorithms.
That's a big win.
Like that.
My algo knows me.
Exactly.
It knows what I want to listen to.
It understands me. Mercy, I'm so sorry. I don't want you to lose your train of thought, but we do have to go to a break. But that's brilliant. Just understanding the technical.
Amplify and isolate. Shukilia.
Isolate. First isolate you, then I amplify you.
So we're going to a break. And then I'll also I'm very curious to hear Godfrey and Justice. Again, Godfrey talked about Kibra. So what are the unique challenges of this holiday period for children there? Offline, but we'll come back and listen to what Mercy was saying. Given the finance
I thought about what Milka said. We think of all these dangers and valid. I had not thought about now. The final.
It's a lot. We'll come back. Fixing the Nation, one conversation at a time. It's coming up to 9 a.m. We're still also going to cross over to X. So if you want the mic, please let us know. But we'll come back and continue this conversation. There's also a ton of feedback. So I think once we come back from the break, we'll try and sample some comments on YouTube and then continue our conversation this morning.
Welcome to the final hour of Fixing the Nation. We're live on NTV, on Nation FM, on YouTube, on Facebook, anywhere with a broadcast or internet signal. Let's get into our news fix for the hour. Now, a reminder that the Agriculture Cabinet Secretary Mutahi Kagwe has sounded the alarm over rising cases of illegal coffee hawking, warning that the practice is fueling crime within the coffee sector. Speaking in Nyeri town on Wednesday, Kagwe revealed that traders have resorted to selling coffee in entertainment joints, with proceeds reportedly spent on alcohol. He termed the trend illegal, saying both sellers and buyers risk arrest since hawkers lack proper trading licenses. Kagwe also noted that the illicit trade has led to suspiciously high coffee deliveries from farmers with small land holdings, raising concerns about stolen produce entering factories. Again, the last part of that is very alarming indeed. It's not if it's not making sense, right? That I have 1 acre of land, I've brought you a ton of coffee.
And the math doesn't add
my
up.
1 acre is like, it multiplies.
As you
know?
said, it's bountiful.
Yeah, it's bountiful. That's very worrying.
Yeah.
But the other one for Niliuza coffee co entertainment joint, I don't know. You still need to convince me why that's a bad thing.
We need to. We'll come back to our conversation in a moment. A lot of you giving us feedback on YouTube. So I'm just going to go through a number of comments because I don't know that we'll be able to come back to them. Like Kikombe earlier said, Zia is correct. Recent research suggests that only 30 to 50 maybe speak and understand English at a social level. I think it's when Zia was talking about English isn't understood or spoken well across the country. Gikombe goes on to say, I love that Zia met his calling. He articulates issues well, and our social media should be filled with millions of him. Somebody said, give people flowers while they're here. Sawa Zia. Take your flowers.
Period.
Flowers. Charles Dungo. No, I think we already read that one. Job Jiro, now we're getting into the conversation at hand. Children have become smarter than adults in terms of self-preservation. Monitoring is not the smarter way to go. I say no phones and internet if the children are under 18. Okay. Somebody else says, if you don't answer your kids' questions, Grok will.
That is so true.
Great conversation. As a parent and educator, it's important to face every one of these successes and online challenges with empathy. With empathy. And I think Dr. Modoni said, even Ivana, just listen to them. What is it? Don't have moral? Moral panic, yeah.
Panic, yes.
I'm scared of teaching my kids that because they'll come back and say, you have moral panic. Because they've been very good at throwing things back.
Yeah. They're clever.
They're very clever. About 3 more comments. Fixing parenting, great conversation. Even as we discuss such, we must also acknowledge that human interactions and attachments are evolving more online and diverse than it was in the past. Asai Moran, children observe and mirror parents. You can't tell your child no mobile phones and then you spend 90% of your time on TikTok. No screen time for kids, no screen time for parents. Finally, the main reason our children are at risk online is because we ourselves are insufficiently educated on digital citizenship. The internet itself is still new to me as a parent, kuna shida mbele, which is what Mercy was saying, I think, just before the break. So I think we can come back to that.
You were saying algorithms are built to isolate and
then amplify. Yeah. So there's this whole thing about your feed is supposed to be tailored to you and you're going to get personalized content and, you know, Facebook is supposed to bring people together. And let me just give you something to think about. Like, think about your friend who you follow on social media. Like, how often do you actually see their content? Like, you're not in control over what you see. Right. It's the algorithm. It has isolated you and profiled you. So when you ask the question about like what platforms are doing, this is, there was a study that was done, the kind of Instagram a kid in South Africa has access to versus the kind of Instagram a kid in Finland has access to is very different because of the governance structure and also governments that actually are putting in the effort to regulate this platform. So a European policy and regulator are more strict on like the kind of measures put, and algorithms are not automatic things. They're things that are being tweaked to achieve certain targets. Let's remember that. They're not neutral players. You cannot say that you're going to tweak your algorithm or train your algorithm. No, it's the algorithm that decides what you will watch and what you will not watch. So if there's no one else that like playing oversight and checking what is the algorithm doing to kids here, you're just being treated as a Kenyan child who is between the ages of 10 to 15, and that is why we are bombarding you with a lot of makeup content because we know you're vulnerable and you're feeling a little bit less beautiful. Someone should like really read the research about Instagram and also Facebook, that kids were being, especially kids who are going through early menstrual phases, were being targeted with a lot of ads on your beauty products. When you delete a photo, like you've taken a photo on your, on your phone, you delete it because you don't think you look cool. When you go on Instagram, you find an advert about here's how to make your face more beautiful, right? So the protections.
Here's this pimple cream. Here's this.
Yes. As far as social media platforms are concerned, we are in one silo called the rest of world, and that rest of world is not a key market for them, so they don't invest in protection. So I agree with what someone earlier said, like the protections don't really exist. You say the age restriction for X is 13. Does X ask you how old you are when you're going to log in?
I was wondering.
Yeah, like there's no enforcement mechanism, so it's a number they've put.
It's a number. Like it'll ask you how old are you, and I can put 10th. I was born 10th of December 1968.
Nobody will check. Exactly. It's something they do because the government requires them to do that, but there's really no one that's actually checking. So there isn't per se an X for a child or a TikTok for a child and a TikTok for me, Mercy, who is an adult who actually knows some digital literacy and how to navigate these things. So the short answer there is that it doesn't quite exist. The protections don't exist, which means two things. Long term, of course, you need the government to do its job and you need to hold the platform accountable, but that's our job and it takes time, right? But in the intermediate time, it's the parent then that has to step in. It's the caregivers, it's like the educators who have to step in. Civil society also has to step in to educate people. I like the awareness of the last comment that actually even I as a parent, I'm not educated. So how am I expected to guide my child? But for me, I think the starting point is we really need to shed away the miseducation that platforms have, instilled in us. This idea that we are in control, we can tweak our algorithms, we can actually choose what to watch, we can dictate for our children what to watch. In that moment, like the Roblox example, in that moment, what the algorithm did is isolate that child and then amplify the harm because you're able to access a child. In the AI psychosis example, it's exactly the same. You are here, it's you, and it's not a Google search where millions of people can search the exact same prompt and find the same prompt. No, this is tailored to you. This chatbot understands what you're going through, whether it's like you're in a high feeling season or a low feeling season. It has isolated you. Now it will amplify the harm when it's just you and this person. It's the same thing for social media platforms, like our Instagram reels and our Instagram timelines don't look the same, even TikTok, because we've been isolated and put in silos depending on what else the phones are doing. They're listening to us even when we're not on the platforms. They know who we are. They know I'm a lawyer, I'm this person, I'm newly in the dating world, I'm doing this, and then they tailor all that to bring you the content that just keeps you addicted.
I hope at some point we can come back. I know we'll hear Zia, Milka also, because during the break Milka was talking about an actual experience of even trying to report, and then again Godfrey and Justice. But I hope we can come back to just speak briefly about how do we then use these platforms safely with our kids. Now that they're there, what are the tips to have them interact with it in a healthy way? Not the Instagrams and all, but they're there. You know what I mean? Option one, take away the screens. They'll find the screen somewhere else. I know a lot of it is instilling values, but is there a healthy way to encourage the use of digital platforms with children, monitored, shortened time frames, etc. I think that might be important as we wind up, so that it's not.
That's exactly how we should, that's the fix perhaps.
Part of the fix, yeah.
Mercy clocked me because I brag about my algos. I'm like, my Twitter algo, I've tailored it to me. I don't see that, all that stuff that is trending and is negative, I don't see it because I've tailored my Twitter algo. And TikTok to the same. It's just stuff that I like. I don't like politics on my, and I'm now thinking how delusional that sounds. Hey, I've been clocked. But Zia, please weigh in, and then we'll hear from Milka as well, because the what's next when things do happen online is so important, and you tried to find out what next, and then we'll get on to the X Space and hear from Justice as well, na pia Godfrey. But Zia, chatuanze. Ronyo, be on standby, tunakuja kwako.
I'm going to answer that question you asked me before we went for the break, in view of what she said, because she also clocked me. Because I've been saying you can tweak your own algorithm. I, like you, have been saying, I've curated my algorithm to give me this and that and that and that. But then I forgot there was a comparison that was done between algorithms in Africa and Asia. Algorithms in Asia, most especially TikTok, it amplifies national pride, STEM subjects, topics to do with critical thinking. When you come to Africa, on the other hand, it amplifies gossip, comedy, and nudity with no context. Like, it was an actual study that was done, an actual comparison that was done. And that's why I was saying, even as parents, you need to understand. But then someone said, even as a parent, I don't understand these social platforms. How do I do it for my kids? But then I think, to finish up, I think I want to extend some grace to parents, because I think we are at that point in humanity where this is the first time we are having these digital problems, AI psychosis, and there is no community at all. Parents live in high-rise apartments. In the apartment building I live in, the kids' area is so tiny, but the kids are millions. I don't want to say millions, but there are so many. They play in the basement. You don't even know what they're doing under those cars. You don't even know what they're doing behind the gym. And I wonder, when I look at the foreseeable future, or even the future, what's really the future for kids? Because there's no community whatsoever at all. You wonder, as opposed to, yes, we are telling parents, regulate the phone, put your phone aside, take the phone of your kid, but then I think that's what I'm going to say.
And thank you for the empathy, 100%. Also, that just knowing that algorithms are different country to country, because I was sure I was the one in control, 100%. Just like, it's giving me what I want. Delulu, but it's good to get clocked very early in the morning. You move through the day knowing. But Milka, you tried to report the incident that you shared with us earlier, which was, someone basically taking advantage of your child, having them share card details. That's fraud, right? It's essentially, it's fraud, not essentially, it is fraud. You tried to go to report this matter to the police. Reaction? Kuliendaje?
Yeah, not once actually, because we are an Access to Justice organization. We deal with children issues, and some of them are online related. Yeah, my experience with police has been that they don't understand. And you see, online insecurity and the exploitation and abuse that can happen manifests in very different ways. For instance, a lot of trafficking happens through online channels. exposure to sexual exploitation, and all these things happen. So you're going to report, but the officer at the desk do not understand. Like my experience, the latest experience, we interacted with around almost more than 5 officers, including the OCS of the particular station where we were, and not a single officer completely understood what the issue was, because this is outside the usual crimes that they understand. So as we say that mechanism exists for protection in the law, like for instance in that case, well, that was a cyber crime. The officer who was writing down wrote stealing. And we had to discuss and say, is this stealing? Because if you look at stealing, for instance, in law, the way stealing is defined, you will never prove. Because you'll never prove, because legal ways of proving stealings are very different from proving a cyber crime. The evidence that is required and everything that is required. So you'll not be able to nail the person who has committed this particular offense. So the officers need to be informed, because then we will not be having mechanisms of ensuring that the children are protected. Well, government have put in some few structures here and there, which are mostly unknown. I was looking at the Communication Authority website, and I saw the part for children and the safety online. It's there, and reporting and all these discussions, but they don't invest in telling parents or informing us, and we also don't know very well. Like I tried the number there, it went through, but nobody picked for reporting. Maybe because I tried maybe outside working hours, or I don't know.
But don't excuse them. It should be ideally a 24-hour hotline.
But you see, so there are those mechanisms, and so protection institutions and mechanisms that exist are also very, very, very weak. But even as we think within these small ways of protecting the children in terms of police and who can respond and be able to offer bring the culprits, and we know, so that they can deter others. I think, just to conclude from what they have spoken, we need to think deeply as a country and even as Africa, because this is part of neo-colonial. If we do not do something about ourselves as Africa, we will never rise above. This is a plan to completely finish our children. If the only thing that we are getting there is gossip and nudity, well, other people are getting better. What can we do, and what should we all do together?
I like that. Yes. Should we just cross over to X-Space, then come to Justice and Godfrey?
Yes. I know, I can see there's a lot going on. Just hold on one second. Justice Godfrey will be coming to you in a minute. But Ronyo, I had requested for the mic on X. Ronyo, what is your contribution to our conversation around online safety for children?
Thank you so much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I will just have few maybe to say on the same topic. Currently we are raising children who are very curious, and these days, especially trying to control children in regards to screen, and mostly you see the children that we are having there, they are mostly copying everything that parents are doing. So one, especially us who are in Africa, it's very hard to control children. Or even if you're telling them not to do something, at least we should have something like an open discussion. Like what we used to happen when you're in school. They will teach you about how to approach strangers, how to protect yourself and all that. So an open discussion between parents and children, telling them what to do and what not to do, and probably for the kids who are maybe below 10 years, they are, if you're buying them gadgets, at least they are like Google Family Link. It allows you to set up to control the screen timings, and also making sure that children are not using their gadgets maybe in the bedroom or where you are not monitoring them, ensuring that they are you're closely monitoring them and seeing wherever they are happening. And also, as a businessman, probably it will be a difficult thing, but in Africa, probably having phones or gadgets that probably for children, because of course you cannot tell them that they are not going to use these things and they are seeing us using them. But having gadgets that only have kids stuff can really help, but it will be difficult, especially from Africa. But the developed world, you will see them. They have kids phones that are only having applications that only helps them in whatever they're doing. So this is a big discussion, but probably that can involve even the government. But unfortunately, we have government that do not care. As a previous speaker was saying, she called and a certain number that was not being received. So even the government involvement in ensuring that this is that kids are protected, it can really help a lot. But it is it's a really good discussion for parents to have with their children, because they will want to know why you're saying I should not use this. But again, if you are having to give them phones, if you're having to give them laptop, at least explain to them what is harmful and how to recognize things that can affect them, and how to use these gadgets in a moderate way. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Very helpful contributions. Somebody here has said, yeah, setting screen time limits and encouraging responsible online behavior, but parents or caregivers must help children navigate the online world safely. That's part of, yeah, I mean, there has to be oversight.
True.
Yeah.
What I'm gathering is kila mtu akona kazi hapa. From an oversight perspective, so that means legislation, so that the algos are behaving properly here.
Yes.
That means from a parent perspective, from even the curriculum, because it's talked about, you know, how to get young people to understand what, you know, how to educate them about their safety online. That should be at home, but also in school. Same way you teach them how to cross the road at home, and also in school.
Oh, that's a good way of putting it. There are countries where 10, 11-year-olds are developing websites and games, you know, so that's healthy use of the platform. And those are people who can go into careers like that. I mean, 10, 11 websites. There's also the other aspect, which is what I think Godfrey had said at the beginning. And Godfrey, I want to understand whether the challenges are also still largely online, or whether then there's also this dual challenge of concerns of children online, as well as what happens during the holiday break for children, say your children in the neighborhood, and how you're trying your best to keep them safe and engaged offline. So are the challenges both online and offline for you in your case?
Right. And just before you go, King Julie will be coming to you. I know I see you've requested the mic. We'll come to you, King Julie, in just a minute. But let's hear from Godfrey and also from Justice on perhaps the school holiday shift that happens, because he had mentioned about it earlier.
When they come back.
Yeah, they're different essentially.
Yeah, thank you. In my case, or our case, I'm talking about Kibra, and you understand the settlement. One thing in Kibra, we do not have playing grounds. So as a parent, you just release your child to go and play. Then one thing, you won't monitor them there, because I told you also have some responsibility to take as a parent. You will leave them and go to work. When you come back, you won't know what exactly they are doing there. Number two is the local administration. You see there, children are given permits to even old bushes around. They don't even find out what exactly they are going to do. They just go to the chief or the area administration, tell them you're going to have a birthday, organize a birthday. Then you will end up finding so many children in a room. Then you won't even understand what they're doing there. So I think we are going through a lot, and this is not only about the parents. It's also about the non-governmental, the NGOs we have around. You see the kind of things they organize. You will be told we are having a talent search. Visit those talent search and see the kind of things the children do there. You will be surprised. And this will not only happen in the society, it also happens in schools. Look at the kind of cultural days they organize. Look at the kind of things they expose our learners to. So I think it is a collective responsibility, but most importantly, the government should come in and intervene. Because you see, in most, when we talk about the online aspect, about exposing our children to social media and all that, I think these things should just be 18 and above. You know, it is easier to regulate 18 and above because you'll be told to insert your ID number. From that, you'll know whether this person is 18 and above or not. But when you talk about 13, is there any proof that this child is 13 or above?
No.
So I think these are some of the things we need to look into. But again, when you look at the settlement we are in, you may control your child against accessing the phone and the screens. It is not about the screens we have, the gadgets we are having. We also have the mainstream media and the kind of things they do. There are some local televisions which will only play music, and the kind of the dress code and all that you'll see there. You will be amazed. So I think as a community, it is a very collective responsibility that starts from the parent all the way to the government and in our schools. What are the kind of policies we put in place?
Right.
Because when you look at how our private schools operate, it's completely different with how public schools operate. In private schools, the children are always right because they believe that the bosses. But in public school, in the other hand, it's completely different. In public school, teachers will control these children. But then when you do that in a private school, you risk losing your job.
Yeah.
So these are the kind of things we are facing. It is not about only us. I may control my child, but then when they get out, we've seen children going to boarding school, very innocent children going to boarding school. When they come back with different characters. You ask yourself, where did they get these things from?
Yeah.
So
you can only do so much.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. The rest of it outside the home is where the issue is. You know, earlier when I heard Justice speaking and he's like, parents need to spend more time. I am curious to hear from you, because I'm sure you as a teacher, I'm just trying to hold that space where, as you've heard, parents are overwhelmed. They're trying to work their jobs, and they're also trying to run their homes. They may not always be there for children. So I just want to know from you, Justice, realistically, what does spending time with children, given that people are carrying multiple jobs and doing multiple things, what does it look like? Because it sounds like you're saying parents are just leaving it to the teachers. They come and say it's up to you teachers to help with our children. But realistically, what does it look like for you that you can either recommend or that you've seen work for parents who are quite genuinely overwhelmed?
Right. And as you answer that, I wanted to ask how long you've been teaching and what changes you've noticed in your learners over time as now the internet has become more accessible and screens have become more accessible. What positive and negative changes have you noticed in your learners over time? Yeah.
What I can say that we are not on the right path for our learners. In fact, if we are not
Just
careful,
hold your mic a little bit closer.
If we are not careful as the nation, we will not have good citizens in future. One, I'm still on parents. There's something which used to be Parents Teachers Association. This Parents Teachers Associations it is only being found in public schools. And in private schools, it is no longer there. Or if it is there, it is not active. Why am I saying this? In private schools, the learners are always right. That is in private schools.
Like Godfrey's idea.
Yes, they are always right. And that's where you will find even a parent is coming, yelling to a teacher because of his money. Is paying. Now, we are for money, and we don't, the characters we are creating to the learners will affect us in future. Most of the time, parents meet learners, parents meet teachers once, maybe in a term. But for me, I feel that is not good. They should always be free to meet the teachers, to know how the learners how they proceed with their learning. Like we are not only teaching the syllabus, right? We are also concerned about the character of a learner. Like we have a parents teachers conference, PTC. That's the time a teacher will be having a meeting with the parent, and some parents are wondering, which kind of my child has been like this, and it is him or her who is not concerned maybe about it.
Right.
Now, we are the learners, the teachers. The teachers should always be smarter than the learner. But this is now different with the parents. The learners of today are too smart than the parents. That's why when they are called even in the meeting, they are wondering, is this my child who has been doing this and that? Because curiosity, what we have been talking about, what is the way forward? The way forward, we should not only government start with you.
Right.
As a family, that is a government. Not checking the President Ruto. You check your family first, because no one will help you to control your family. Now, in that family, what are you teaching your learners? Do you encourage even the learner to go to the church if you are a Christian, or to the mosque? This, when it is raining, I give the example. When it is raining on Sunday, you'll find a parent is not taking the children to church. They say it is raining. But when it is raining during school time, they are struggling to go to school. Now, it means we are being colonized on issues of academics than even the characters. Now, the government should also look at how to regulate these social media things.
Yes.
And the parents, let parents also understand this. There should be digital
oversight. Yeah, yes, literacy. Yeah. Actually, you're right.
They should understand that, because you'll find they have money. Some have money. Then they have bought for their children the gadgets. Then they give the gadgets to the children. Then these children, they will know more than even these parents.
Agreed.
They will know more than these parents. Now, the curriculum also, I will talk about curriculum.
Yeah.
The curriculum should be reviewed. Let me not lie to you. The curriculum, the current curriculum, that is CBC, is the best curriculum so far. The only problem is the implementation.
Right.
But the implementation should start with us, teachers, parents,
and of course government.
Yeah, and the government now again. Now, let's incorporate these things, all of these things in the curriculum, so that even when my sister goes to the police station, that police officer will be a parent.
Right.
We'll also know about what is happening in these things. But most of us, we don't understand this.
Some backwards integration. Yeah, it could be the learners teaching the parents what they're learning in school.
Yeah.
All right.
And we also encourage the learners on the leadership in schools. That's why we give them time also to do election for their leaders there.
That's true.
And also we make our curriculum to be learner-centered, so that we be close to them, so that they enjoy that thing as we teach them how to behave at the same time.
Right. I like the emphasis on character outside
Values,
the curriculum, values, and like we're all speaking the same language. Ronyo wants to contribute again on X. Let's just hear from Ronyo before we come back to the panel on the fixes now, because now we need to look forward and actually figure out how to protect learners, children online. Ronyo.
Thank you so much for the mic again. I just wanted to mention that I was teaching in China some time back, and every child there, unlike our country and our children, every child there they have a phone, each and every one of them. But The difference is the phones they are having, the parents control whatever that is downloaded there, the application that they're using there. So it's all tailored to kid stuff. They cannot download anything outside that. So every child, they have the phones and the gadgets, but those are used to help them in whatever they're doing. They have games, they have all these things that are really tailored to kids. So that's one of the ways that can help children. But unlike our country, you find kids who are below 10, most of the families will not be able to provide them a gadget. But the difference is, I think I had one of the speaker mentioning about religion and in terms of even the curriculum CBE that we have. And this is the biggest failure because religion, you understand currently right now for us who are parents, the generation you're having right now, the Gen Zs and the Alpha generation, you cannot tell them do not, and the religion is the biggest failure. They always say don't this, don't do, and the generation that we have right now, the children are asking why, and we should not misunderstand. They are questioning as disrespect. They want to know why. If you're telling me not to do this, why am I not going to do that? If you're telling me not to use the phone beyond this time, why not? So for us to not have a back and forth with our children, or for us to have to direct them, or to guide them in, to have a brighter future, or to know what, when and what to do at what time, is probably having a framework, or even the government coming up and or maybe the kind of big companies that if we can find ways to have them have this gadget, but still have control of whatever that is there. And I say it again, I think it's Google Family Link. It allows you to have the phones that the kids are using, the application that exactly tailored to them. If they are going to download anything else, it kind of sends a link to or an info to the parents. So that way, they will still have to use the gadgets, but it is going to help them.
Thank you.
Much more.
Wow. Really good. I think he said something that we shouldn't miss in all this. This generation is different. You engage them. I know some people call it gentle parenting. I don't know what else works, man. Like they just are like, why? Why are you yelling? Why can't you just have a conversation with me? Why aren't you explaining?
You're a big girl, why can't you regulate your emotions?
Literally. And I think that's the thing we need to understand in all this, is that we're not dealing with the generation that we've dealt with before, not the way we've been raised. And so, people like us are having to reframe. Sometimes you want to default set to, if I had said that to my mother, then you remember, oh, actually, I need to tweak my approach to explain. And that's taken a lot to just say, breathe and have the conversation, as opposed to just saying, go because I said so.
Going back to default settings.
Going back to default setting. I wonder if we can go around and just get fixes from everyone.
Maybe start with Dr. Muthoni.
Yes, absolutely.
And as you take the mic, I also wanted to know from you and Ivana, the effects of growing up online as a child. And I don't mean, we've talked about access to the screens. I mean now when you are the content. Yes, when you are the content. Either your parents are involving you in their content, or you're a content creator yourself at a certain age. What does that do for the brain development of a child? Do we have studies on it? Are we? I don't know. And then maybe we can get the fix for keeping kids safe online from a parental and a child perspective. Let's start with you, Dr. Muthoni.
Okay, to answer your question about the child growing up online, a lot of ethical issues come up with that, because this child cannot give consent. And we know there are many predators out there. One of the guys I follow on Instagram is a former FBI agent. And he says sometimes you'll post what you think is a cute picture of your child, but the number of people who are downloading that image and using it in child pornography and the dark web is ridiculous. So if you don't have a reason to expose your child, don't, because you don't know who is on the other end of that screen. For these kids who grow up online, you're skewing their worldview. Even kings in ancient times did not have the amount of followers, an 11-year-old can have. A whole Roman emperor would be shocked to find someone has 15 million followers somewhere, you know. So this kid is growing up in a very unusual environment. They are probably going to have an inflated sense of self. They're probably not going to be in touch with reality. They'll not know how real life operates. And you're setting them up for failure because when they grow up, that's not how the world works. I'm sure Zia will tell you that a lot of influencers struggle with the online perception of them versus
the real
reality.
world, yeah.
And so you find people actually dying of suicide because of that gap. What I will say about this conversation, I would encourage parents, don't worry about all the children in the world. Worry about the one in your house. Because if you worry about this generation is bad, AI, what, you'll be so scared, you won't be able to do anything. And in therapy, and she's a child psychologist, go down to the level of that child. I have 3 kids, and I can tell you, each child is unique. Each child is very different. So the more the environment changes, the human brain remains the same. We are wired for connection. Children want you. They want to be loved by you. They want you to look at their drawing, you know. They want to see, Mommy, look at me swimming. Mommy, look at me, you know. So the kind of child you're putting into the world is the best defense against these online things. You know, you don't want your child to wait for someone to tell them they're beautiful. You should wake up and kiss them every morning and say, Mom, you're so beautiful today. I love that dress. Because when you affirm them, they are getting confidence from you. They are getting their self-esteem from you. They are getting their values from you. Don't worry about all the children in the world. Wake up and worry about the ones in your house.
I really like that.
Really good.
So when they go online, they know, who is this strange man in my DMs telling me to send them pictures of sijui what, you know. They'll be like, no, that doesn't sound right. You know, so make your kid resilient, make them know they are loved, make them know they are safe, connect with them. And if you're struggling as a parent, I feel like I have to say that because of being in the mental health space. One of the risks of a child growing up to be traumatized is being raised by a parent who is traumatized. And some of us were raised by parents who are traumatized, whose parents grew up in the colonial rule. So we've had children who are really, like my mom tells me, they would be beaten so badly in school. You know, but their teachers, you have to ask yourself, their teachers probably went through even worse, you know. So I'm saying this to say that if you are a parent and you're struggling, please find help. Because you cannot protect your child if you're in a bad space. If you are addicted to alcohol, your phone, or whatever, find help for yourself. So then you'll have the capacity to parent. Parenting doesn't have to be that complex. Yeah, that's what I'd say.
That is incredibly insightful. I think the resilience. Oh, I wanted to go to the Daktaris first, but I'll come to you, Godfrey. Yeah, it's just incredibly insightful. I'll leave it at that. Let me go to Ivana. Still on, the fix, but also the question of the other side of now growing up on front-facing the camera.
I'd say there's 2 sides to it. I would give an example of a girl who sings with her mom. She used to sing, I don't know if you know her, I don't remember her name, Angela?
With her mom.
She sings with her mom, and so now she's been able to.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So I get what she says is about the inflated sense of self. So you feel like now you're really good and you're important and you can make your own money. You're actually paying maybe your own fees. And there are many of those kids out here, and I think it's beautiful. What I'd say is the identity of the child needs to be created more around other things as well, so that their identity is not formed on this one thing. So I think being online is great because, like, for this girl who's singing, I believe her singing career has been set up for her. It's beautiful. There's another one who's an MC, been set up for her. You know, like, I wish someone did that for me, you know. So I think that's beautiful, but the identity needs to be more than just, oh, I'm online, oh, I can do this, oh, I'm good at this, you know. So I always say self-worth for a child, even for us adults, comes from more of you being whoever you are as a person, not what you can do. I think for all kids, they need to know I am worthy just because of who I am as a person, not because of what I can do. And you know, online makes you do a lot. You know, I'm sure Zia knows, you end up you try and make sure you're this and that and this and that. Yeah. So just remember your worth is being. And then the fix I have, I'd say everyone should pay more attention to children. And I like what she said, pay attention to the children in your house. Also pay attention to any child around you, because the solution comes from them. They are very smart. They have all the answers we need. The problem is we come from here and we come down. So we say, me, I know this and that, so I'll do this with my child because I know A, B, C, D. But your child, you need to understand your child, where they're coming from, what their needs are. My colleague here said, all kids are different, so you need to understand them at their different depth. It's hard, but the hard part is sometimes we don't even understand ourselves. Because of where we are coming from, our childhood trauma, we have not been understood. We have not taken time to understand ourselves. So even this child we are trying to understand, you're like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not trying to understand you because I don't understand myself. So I think let's all focus on children, pay attention to children, and whatever is bottom up.
Bottom up, yes.
Yeah,
I
let's
like
come
that.
from down here.
And then
yeah, if we're talking
work
about
our way
government and whatever, let's start from our babies, because they know what they need. And you can only know what your child needs or any child needs from going to their level. And it's hard work, but it's worthy, because now there's no fight and there's no power struggle. Yeah.
Thank you. Let me go to Mercy just really quick, because we're running out of time, but I do want to hear from everybody. Mercy, what's the fix from an oversight perspective? Hey, that's the certainly tough, but yeah.
There's the long vision, which is for us advocating for better governance, for sure. That's like the bigger vision to fix everything. But before we get there, and as we get there, on an individual level, for me, it's two fixes. One, it's curiosity, meeting these conversations, and especially as far as children are concerned, with curiosity. So yes, we're talking about, my kid wants this. You hear Roblox like in the house so many times, or you hear about Minecraft. Meet that conversation with curiosity and try and understand.
Go play Roblox.
What is this thing, right? And this is very anti-instinctive. Remember your first phone that you bought? Nobody told you how to use it, and you didn't Google how to use it. It was very instinctive.
True.
Like you open this, this does this, right? So I think from a care perspective, you need to upside down that approach. So you don't let kids figure it out by themselves. So if by the time you're getting them a game, or getting them into streaming, every single aspect of Twitch, for example. There's a comment section that can be turned on, turned off. If it's Roblox, okay, if what are people saying in the world about it? Like Google is your friend about these things, because there's also a body of researchers and activists who've been doing a lot of advocacy in this work. So Google, not just ChatGPT, Google these things, right? Like find out what is it about Roblox that makes it a platform where kids actually get games, but also kids are getting groomed, but also kids are getting into, scams, right? And if it's happening to Roblox, can happen also on Minecraft, because also Minecraft has a chat option, right? So meet these things with curiosity. Try and understand for yourself, what is this thing that I'm dealing with? And my last tip really is, there can't be a one-size-fits-all solution for all these things. Just the same way the algorithm has, remember, isolated us and then is amplifying us. So the solution has to be very specific, right? If you're struggling with a teenager who really wants to get to Instagram, right? There has to be a reason why they really want to get to Instagram, and what their friends are telling them about getting on Instagram. So it's not about the rule. We've been told like no kids should be on Instagram by this age because it just does this. It's good to have the knowledge and the understanding of that research, but also we respond to very different needs. There's a reason why you're mostly on TikTok and she's mostly on Instagram. We all have very different needs across the board. And I want to just say the whole idea that we should keep off social media platforms is not a practical solution, because what you're saying is, I want you to miss out on the opportunity of community. It's like telling people, because WhatsApp doesn't take our privacy seriously, leave WhatsApp. But my grandmother, that's the only way
she's
to
right
communicate.
there. That's
so it shouldn't be that we're sacrificing community for us to get safety. It must be that we are figuring out smarter ways of going about it, and it starts with curiosity and understanding. We're saying like parents don't know. The solution is then no, right?
It's no.
And this information actually exists like online. As much as I have done research in these things, I'm also not the most educated person on that, and I'm always on Google asking there's this new future on TikTok. What exactly is it? Are there any drawbacks? And maybe all you need to do constantly is ask those questions with the, what does this platform do to children, right? And just that curiosity.
Thank you. We are running out of time. Zia, you fix Milka, you fix 1.5 minutes if you can. Just very quickly, Zia. Then we'll get to Milka and hopefully Justice as well and Godfrey. Yeah.
I did a video recently talking about how there are certain topics you should never have like too strong opinions on, and I mentioned parenthood is one of them. And this session just really like established it, because a few weeks ago, as someone who's on socials, I've been like, these parents need to regulate how kids use their phones. But then you realize having a one-on-one conversation with parents is some parents are just emotionally tired, psychologically all over. Some parents don't even have any idea how kids are accessing these platforms. And at the end of the day, I'm just being sensitized again to have empathy towards parents and to also learn that they are also learning, and also to learn how to, as someone who's also on socials, to coexist with kids. And to also realize, as I post as an influencer, as someone who's actively using socials, that there are also kids there.
I quite love that. Also to be the community that, that's exactly it actually, what you're describing, is to be community for healthy community for children. Milka?
Thank you. I think there's thinking on the way forward and what we can try to do at different levels. I think we really need to get people who understand all these things. We have heard a lot from Mercy and everyone here, they're understanding different perspective. And I'm really concerned at the issue of governance and legislation and all whole thing. We may blame government, but they also don't understand. A lot of time, people who are sitting in those positions are not the ones who fully understand these things. So we need to come up together and see how we can push government to actually put in structures for governance and legislation on this. I've heard here you can work on algos that will produce what we want what we want as a country. What should our children learn when they go online? So we can do that through legislation, and eventually we can all work together, like they have all said. The teachers need to know, because if the teacher cannot tell the assignment is AI generated, then if the parent cannot know, then CBC won't help us. So we really need to cultivate that curiosity that they have spoken about. Thank you.
We're unfortunately completely out of time. I think Justice and Godfrey had given us fixes in terms of government, but we do have to wind up. This was insightful. I want you to all just come home with me so that community, Kujeni, we'll all have different roles in what we do. But thank you for staying with Fixing the Nation. Up next is Your World on NTV. On Nation FM, there's Vibe Shift with Claudia Naisabo and Brian Aseli. Mariam and I will be back here Monday. I think Eric will still be summiting somewhere, but he'll join us probably on Tuesday. But thank you for Fixing the Nation with us.
And to our fixers
on X, absolutely.
And on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, we really do appreciate you. Tupatane Monday. Have a lovely weekend.